Gotta have a cherry Coke. Hello everyone, welcome to the It's Destiny podcast. I'm your host, Destiny Holmes, and today I'm going to be talking about my failed relationships. So, my very first real relationship, I was 19, and I was with this guy. I'm not going to name his name. So we were together in March. I met him on Snapchat through Snapchat, but I saw him at our old high school. He went to the same high school I did, and then he moved away, and I never saw him again. Then I saw on Snapchat, like, they have extra, like, stories that are for, like, find my friends, I guess. And so I added him, and then I, like, kept sliding up on his story, his Snapchat story, and, like, just trying to make small talk with him. And then we ended up hanging out. I was so nervous. Like, my body was shaking, my hands were shaking. And it was, like, the first, like, real relationship that I had that I, like, thought was love. I feel like it was love at the beginning, but then, like, it just went downhill. But we'll get into that. As I was saying, we hung out. He was there for a week. And then we hung out, like, every day. And I was in school at the time, college, and I stopped going to school just to hang out with him for a week. And then one day I had to work. I used to work at Kroger. And so I missed work on purpose, but I said that me and him just fell asleep taking a nap. I told my mom that. Sorry, Mom. But I just want to hang out with him. Like, screw work. You know, who wants to work when you have this guy who's interested in you and you're interested in him? So my work, Kroger, called my mom because I didn't show up. I was like, you ratted me out. But then my mom called me and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, we just fell asleep. No. We were just watching movies, talking. And then I called the boss and I was like, I was supposed to come in at this time, and if I come, there's only gonna be like 1 hour left until I go to. You want me to still come? She said, well, you're scheduled. I was like, okay. So I just went for an hour. I think I was beginning to be a cashier. That was fun. I miss doing that. So yeah, I went to work, and then right after I drove all the way back to his house, his Nana's house, and we just hung out for the rest of the night. And then he was leaving a couple days later, and like that's when we really like fell for each other, I would say. Like, I never experienced this feeling before, and I'm like, is this love? And then me and him were like getting super close, like really fast. We connected like this, like we were very connected. And then his Nana was like, I'm going to take him back to Tennessee. And she was like, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah. I thought it was just gonna be for a day. We'll like drop him off and then come back. No. Luckily I didn't have to work the next day because I had to stay the night, and we left the next day. And like before all this happened, we like told each other like our feelings, and like, I'm in love with you, I love you too, this is amazing. So then we did long distance for a little bit, and then I went to visit him and met his mom when we first like dropped him off. She was mean to me. So mean, so hateful, and I don't know why to this day. And then she'd always say that she liked me. No, you didn't. You didn't. But anyways, besides that, like the relationship was going good. And then a couple months later, our 6 month anniversary, I was sick. I remember the date too, because I'm really good with numbers, memorizing numbers. It was September 28th. It was our 6 month anniversary, and I was sick with a sinus infection, and I thought I was gonna die because it was that bad. And so earlier that night, the 27th, at night, he took his mom's phone and was like, hey, I caught you know who and my son together. And then I was like, ha ha. And then he said, I'm just kidding, it's just me. And then she said, don't take my phone anymore. So we didn't talk for the rest of the night. Then I wake up randomly at 4 a.m. and I got a text from his mom saying, I'm sorry, I just caught you know who and this girl together in bed because they slept together. And I was like, ha ha, so funny. And I just went back to sleep. Then Saturday, our 6-month anniversary, I texted him bright and early. I was like, happy anniversary, I miss you, I love you. I did not hear from this guy for a couple hours. Like, it was like in the middle of the day, like towards evening, when he messaged me back. And he just called me and was crying, sobbing. And I was like, what? And then he was like, I'm so sorry, it didn't mean anything. I was like, are you for real right now? Are you so for real right now? And he was like, I'm sorry, it didn't mean anything. And like, I remember like I screamed at him. He's never like heard me scream or get mad like ever. And I was screaming at him from the top of my lungs. My mom and my dad were at work and it was just me and my sister. And my sister like was in the room with our brother, I think. And I just can't, no, I think they were at school, but me and her were both home. And so I just ran to her and I just started screaming and crying, and she was holding me. Like, I could tell I freaked her out because she's never seen me like that before. And so yeah, I went to my best friend's house like a couple minutes later, and then he kept calling me. I kept declining. He kept calling me, and then I finally answered, and I was like, what do you want? And I was like, did you use protection? He said, yes. And I was like, okay. And then I hung up on him. And then he calls me again, and I answer when I'm with my best friend. And I was like, did you use protection? And he said, no. And I was like, so you're a liar. Okay. So then he started crying. I put him on speakerphone. And he was just crying and begging. And I had to mute myself because me and my best friend started laughing. Like, because just because a guy cries doesn't mean he's sorry. He's probably just sorry, like, he got caught. Like, you got caught, that's why you're sorry. If your mom didn't tell me, you wouldn't have told me. So, And then his birthday comes around. We made up, I forgave him, took him back. Why? I don't know. Love. But yeah, so a couple months later was his birthday. No, it was the next month, his birthday. And he was having issues at home, and my mom was like, he can move in with us. So he did. And when he did, we were arguing because he kept wanting to go out and party, and my mom was like, no, like, school comes first. And then like we got into a big fight about something, and then he said, I'm not coming back home. So he got drunk and partied all night while I was crying and packing his things to drop it off at his Nana's house. And then he told me to put his stuff inside. He had some clothes that were in the washer. I took them, they were wet. I took them out, put them in baggies, and just dropped it off. I was like, you're not gonna get clean clothes from me. No, you do your own laundry. Why am I doing your laundry anyways? But so yeah, and then a couple years pass, and he comes back, and I take him back, and then same thing happens over and over again. And then last year was the final year. Like, I'm completely done. Like, I don't miss him. I don't like him. Like, I wish him well. But he's always been a drinker, like a heavy drinker. I'm talking morning, lunch, and at night, and throughout the day. It was bad, and it was just, I don't want to say like he's an alcoholic, but like he was showing signs of being an alcoholic, and I just didn't want that, you know. And he also smoked weed, and I'm not a fan of that. Anyways, so last summer we were together, and you know, things were okay at first because he wanted me and I finally wanted him, because he would come back and I wouldn't want him, and then when I would want him, he wouldn't want me, and then we finally like got on the same page, and I was like, okay, like maybe this will work this time. No, it didn't. He ghosted me for 4 or 5 days, and then I messaged him. I was messaging him throughout those days he was ghosting me, and I was like, if you don't message me back, then like we're done. I'm done. I'm tired of this. And then he messaged me back, and he was like, I don't think we should be together anymore. First of all, we weren't even really dating. He never asked me. So I guess it was like a talking stage, I guess. But yeah, so we ended things. I was like, I'm putting your stuff on the porch. You can come get it. And he said, okay, thank you. And I said, you're welcome. Never heard from him again. And then someone tells me that he got a girlfriend the next week. Okay. I don't need that. No. So, yeah, that was that relationship. My second one, yeah, that's a long story. And we're gonna dive in. So, later on, it was like 2022, once again in March. The funny thing is that all 3 of these relationships I'm talking about, they were started in March. It's always March, and I don't know why. But anyways, it was March. We were visiting family because we had family issues back home, and then I downloaded Tinder while we were in California visiting family, and I matched with this girl. Yes, a girl. I matched with her, and then we just started talking. We clicked like crazy. We talked every day, all day on FaceTime. And then the next month, I decided to fly out and visit her and meet her. Things were perfect, like they always are in the beginning. And we clicked. I went to go see her. We went everywhere. She planned these awesome dates. They were fun. But later down the line, she became gaslighting and love bombing and manipulative. And this girl, I kid you not, she wrote a 3-page Google Doc on why I was wrong when we were arguing about something. She just stopped responding. Then 45 minutes later, bam, she sent me a PDF. I was like, this girl is crazy. And then I started like getting sick. My anxiety was crazy. My face was breaking out. I was throwing up all the time. I lost a bunch of weight. I was stressed out. But the only good thing that came from that relationship was, well, 2 things. One, I got back into school. She said, if we're gonna be together, you need to go back to school. You need to finish, because I know you can finish. So I went back to school, did all that. That's the only thing. Well, there's the second one. The second one is later down the line, like, God found me. And I decided to, like, give my life to Christ. And I broke up with her. But that's later down. I started getting sick. lost a bunch of weight, anxiety, acne, stressed, and then I just woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to be with her anymore. I was like, I don't. I wasn't sad or anything. I didn't cry or anything. And I was like, okay. And then I heard this voice inside, and it was like, you don't need to be with her. You need to be by yourself. And I was like, okay. So I broke up with her. I felt kind of bad a little bit because the time difference is 3 or 4 hours. And she woke up to a text saying, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that was kind of mean of me, but, you know, it had to be done. Then she said okay, and then we never talked ever again. But I ended up graduating college last year. Yes, it's been a year from graduating. I didn't think I would do it. And honestly, this is kind of dark, but I didn't think I would be alive to finish college or even do college. So thank you, Jesus, for getting me through everything that I went through. And as soon as we broke up, I kid you not, 4 or 5 days later, my skin was clear. I was glowing. I wasn't stressed. I was eating again. I was gaining my weight back. No anxiety. I felt free. So free. And I don't know. It was a good feeling. And then I started going back to church and like really taking it seriously. And so I went to church every Sunday, and if we couldn't go on Sundays, we would watch online. We go to 2 churches every Sunday. I have started to go on Wednesdays. I'm trying to like get into church more, like as much as I can. So I've been going on Wednesdays for the past 2 or 3, I think it was 2 weeks. It's been 2 or 3 weeks now that I've been going on Wednesdays. My computer's being weird. But so yeah, I started growing and getting close with God. And then last year in April, I decided to get baptized. So I got baptized and it really changed my life. I feel closer to God and I appreciate things that I have now because once I didn't before. And the bad part about being with a girl was like in a lesbian relationship is I would always say, and I hate myself for saying this, but I used to say, if we don't sin, God died for nothing. And that was a mindset I had. And I was like, looking back, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you ever say that? Why would you, you know? I was just lost and my mental health was so bad. But I've been mentally stable for about a year and a half now. Thank you, God, once again, because being bipolar and having anxiety and depression, severe anxiety, might I add, is terrible. It's terrible. Manic, you're doing things without thinking, you know, getting yourself into trouble. So I have been mentally stable for a year and a half now, I think it is. Take my medicine every day as I'm supposed to. I used to not take it for like a week because I have morning medicine, night medicine. Of course I take the night medicine because it helps me sleep. But so I never really took my morning medicine because I always forgot or I just didn't want to. I didn't care. But I decided to start taking my medicine and taking it seriously so I can like be healthy and be normal. So yeah, I've been mentally stable for a while now, and it's great. And having God with me too, that also makes a big difference. But anyways, I'm mentally stable and it feels good, and God is heavy in my life. And I've only had 3 relationships. So the next one is more recent. Once again, met him on a dating app. The only person that I didn't use a dating app for was my first boyfriend. And my second boyfriend, he's a really good guy. It's just like, I want to wait till marriage. Newsflash, not a virgin, not proud of it. But I wanted to wait till marriage, and I made that clear to him. And I was like, I also want a relationship surrounded by God. Like, I want God involved in the relationship. That's what I've always wanted. And so he said that he doesn't really like go to church that much anymore. Something happened. He wouldn't tell me. But I was like, okay, well, I can't do this then. I met him on Hinge. That's a good app. Tinder is like hookup culture, and I'm not about that. No. I want love. LOVE. And you know, Hinge is like more serious. So I got that, and then we matched, and then we talked, and then we met, and then that was fun. It was awkward because I'm an awkward person. And so after that, I went to California to visit family for my siblings' birthdays. They're both born in April. So I ended things before we went on the trip, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I want to wait till marriage. And then he sent me a message a few days later. He was like, I'm willing to go to church and like be a man of God, and I will wait till marriage. I want to be with you. And I was like, okay. Well, in my head, I didn't reply for like 4 or 5 days after. And then I messaged him back, and I was like, okay, we can try things. And then later, I think a month later, he got baptized. I don't personally think that he was ready. I feel like he was rushing that, but I mean, it's not my place to say. I'm just saying like what I think, my opinion. And I went to his baptism. I was supporting him, and things were going great. And then whenever we would have long talks, he would bring up intimacy like every single time. And I was like, I want to wait till marriage. Like, we've been over this. And then he was like, I need to live with you before we get married. I was like, no, we have to wait. And he was like, I don't want to wait. I want you to move with me to Tennessee for a job. I don't want to leave you. Yeah, he wanted me to move with him after a month of knowing him. I was like, pause. You're rushing things. And he would always say, you can't rush love, but he was rushing it. And he said that he loved me like the second time we hung out, and I didn't say it back. And then I thought I felt the same way, so I said it back one day. And then, you know, he started like love bombing the crap out of me, and I didn't really realize what it was until like I was talking to my mom about it. And then he was just like pushing it. And I want to bring up some Bible verses that I like. Psalms 119. How can a young person stay on the path of purity? And then the second sentence is by living according to your word. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live, you know, according to God's word. And I stuck with that, and I'm sticking with that. I'm not going to change my mind. No. I want to do things my way. You want to do things your way. it's just not gonna work out. Our values are not the same. And, he said that he respected me and stuff, but if you kept bringing intimacy up, do you really respect me and my values and my beliefs? Because I don't think so. And then 1 Corinthians 10:9, we should not test Christ as some of them did. Because hookup culture is like literally everywhere. And I'm like, I can't. I need to love the person. And I need it to be the right person. And then, I think I have one more. Yeah. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And, when you give your body to someone, you're chipping off pieces of your soul. So, when you're intimate, people just say it's just sex. It's a connection between two people who really love each other and who also value God. So, with that being said, I'm waiting, and I'm not going to lower my standards, because before I had low standards because I wanted love so bad. But, being by myself, I like it. Like, when there's this guy who DM'd me, and he was, like, trying to be all, like, slick and stuff, like, flirt with me. I'm like, ew. No. I don't want that right now. And I don't think you go to church either, because literally nowadays, nobody goes to church. And so, for me to find a godly man, that means I gotta leave the house. And the only two places I go are to church and Kroger. I love me some Kroger. Man, I love that store. But yeah, so I only go to church. But we've been mainly going to our uncle's church, my uncle's church, because he's the preacher there. I love when he preaches. He's so good. He really gets the word across too. He's great. But we haven't been going to our other church because it starts at 9:30, and my mom has health issues like her back and stuff, so like she has to be careful. And that church is massive, and my anxiety would not let me go by myself, so that's why I haven't gone. I'm thinking about going on Sunday, like by myself. Maybe find me a little church boy. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna start going there too, but if my anxiety gets too bad, I'm just gonna watch it online like I haven't. But yeah, people just say it's just sex. Like, no, it's not. Like, no, I can't. No. I want to wait till marriage. I want to be with someone who loves me for me and not just my body, Yeah, that's why I'm waiting. Because I want to do things God's way. And lastly, I will say, I pray every night for the past week now for me to find someone who's a godly man. And, I'm never really a prayer girl. Like, I never really say prayers unless I need something or if I want something. And that's not how it should be. It's really not how it should be. I pray literally every night for God to send me someone, a godly man. And for all those children and people in Texas, like, I saw this picture of this little girl from Texas who died. May she rest in peace. Who looked just like my sister, Callie. And I just started bawling my eyes out because they just look so much alike. And, like, I could never, I can't lose that girl. Or my brother. Or my other sister. Or my mom. My mom is, like, my best friend. So, I've been reading the Bible. I started this Bible plan on the Bible app, and it's 52 weeks in the Word. You read you read parts of the Bible, like from the very beginning. I'm in Isaiah now, I think. I've been reading ahead. Like I'm on day 190 something. And I just read ahead. So I'm really interested in it, and you know, I do it every day. I try to do it 2 times a day, but I've been slacking. So I try to do that twice a day, or at least once a day, get my daily dose of Jesus. You know how it is. And you know, try to get closer to him that way. And like being by myself, I'm really happy. Like I always thought, like I was the type of person who was like, I need to be with someone to be happy. But like now that I'm by myself, and like I've been by myself like for 2 years, because you know, the relationship from last year was like a month, and it wasn't even really a relationship. I was fine by myself, but then he popped up, you know, and then my last relationship it ended last month, and I feel like I was not that into it, so I was fine like ending things. But yeah, I'm really happy by myself. It's weird. It is lonely, I will give you that. So I go to bed early. I literally read the Bible if I'm tempted to get a dating app, and it works. I read the Bible, and I'm like, nah, I was just, you know, feeling lonely. You're never lonely with God, ever. I've been doing that, and it's really helped me a lot in going to church extra, like more than once a week. It's really nice, you know, being in God's word almost all the time, basically all the time. And I don't know, I'm a lot happier, and I'm happy by myself. And if I have to be by myself for a while, like I will. Do I want to? No. I'm gonna be 26 this year. I wanna be married and have a kid before I'm 30. Is that gonna happen? Probably not. I have bad luck with relationships, as I have talked about. That was basically all of today's episode. It's a short episode. I thought I was gonna do longer, but I just, you know, added both podcast episodes together, because I was gonna do Bible verses for one episode, and then relationships for a second episode. But you know, I just decided to combine it. You know, I'm not really sure what the next episode is gonna be. I still gotta brainstorm. Yeah, that was today's episode. I hope you liked it. It's my first ever video, you know. I'm sure like things will change and it'll get better from here if I stick to it, and I plan on sticking to it. Sorry, my podcast phone ran out of storage. But I just want to end with saying thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next video. Not really sure when I'm gonna put it out yet. I still gotta brainstorm and think about what I'm gonna talk about. Like I said, probably reality and mental health and how they tie together. So yeah, this has been fun, and I hope you watch next time. Peace.